Welcome to another edition of the Noles Podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me and my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Today is November 24th, 2021. I do have a few segments for this episode. I hope you enjoy it. First of all, happy Thanksgiving. I really don't celebrate it, but I do eat, but I don't necessarily celebrate the traditional reasoning for Thanksgiving. That's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw it out. Florida State is in a very unique position. Okay. Obviously we all know that Dan Mullen got fired earlier this week. And obviously we believe that Manny Diaz is not going to survive he's not going to be able to keep his job, basically. I lost my train of thought there for a second. And so Florida State is in a very unique position to recapture the state. I don't think that Florida State will ever get the top guys. I think the days of, one school really running the state of Florida are over. I think, so many schools come in there now. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas A&M. I mean, Florida is just a hotbed now. And, in years past, Miami had a blockade around South Florida. I mean, now, really anybody can come in there. I mean, Lamar Jackson got out of the state of Florida. Teddy Bridgewater got out of the state of Florida. So, it's just so much talent that comes out of there. But I think Florida State is in a unique position to get some of the very best guys. I mean, they do really well in South Georgia. And, they do better in South Georgia than they do in Florida, which is just amazing to me. I just hope they can win on Saturday. I don't really think this is going to be a gimme type game. I think this team is going to rally. I think they're going to come out and play very spirited. I don't see them laying down for Florida State. Okay. I don't sense that they genuinely love this coach, Mullen. I think the players probably wanted him gone. And now that he's gone, they're probably going to play hard. But just how quickly did things fall apart at Florida? In January or last December, they're in the SEC championship game. And played a spirited game against Alabama. But I guess when you don't have Trask and Pitts, it's a rebuilding year. And just some of the comments he made, they wanted him out of there. I don't know who they're going to go get. I don't see them getting Cristobal. I don't see him going to Florida. If he's going to leave Oregon, right? A money-rich program. And he probably get anything he want at Oregon. If he's going to leave, it's probably going to be to Miami. And it's only under the condition that he probably going to get to pick the athletic director. At least he being smart about it. If he goes, I don't know. UF, I don't know. They talking about the coach from Louisiana, Napier. I don't know nothing about the guy, but whatever. I don't care who they get. I'm more concerned with my guys at Florida State. Um, I'm not really a big recruiting guy, but I get more excited about the offensive and defensive line recruits. I mean, if you can get Tyree West, if you can get Marvin Jones, if you can get Julian Armella, man, that would be one impressive haul. That would be just a hell of a, haul for this coaching staff. Just to be in the conversation, where Florida State has been for the last 5 years, just to be in the conversation with those guys is a tremendous accomplishment by this coaching staff. So I give them kudos for that, for just, being in Julian Armella's top 4. And I know he's a legacy recruit, but you still have to go out there and recruit the guy. And I think if you get him, he's instantly the best offensive lineman on your roster. Overnight. Instantly. And, Tyree West and Marvin Jones Jr., they could come in and start day one probably. I just don't see anybody outside of Fabian Lovett, if he chooses to come back, that, I don't see McClendon or Fuller being better than Marvin Jones Jr. I think they both need to get into the weight room. Julian Armella looks like a basketball player, bro. Long ass arms. Very athletic from what I've seen. And I'm not a recruiting analyst, but like I said, I get more excited about offensive and defensive line recruits because, let's just face it, with the exception of this year, we've sucked on the lines. And I give kudos to the staff for, flipping that defensive line. That was tremendous what they did, and basically, a year they flipped that defensive line. So, you need to do that same thing with the offensive line. I think Gibbons is like your best offensive lineman. I'm not really impressed with anybody else. Florida has a very good defense. It's going to be hard to, get yards. It's not going to be an easy game. If we're going to win, it's going to have to be, we jump out to a lead and try to hold on. That's been the formula for the last 2 weeks. If we can get to 6-6 and get to a bowl game, that would be a tremendous accomplishment for this staff. But like I said, I'm never going to sit here and celebrate 6-6 in a bowl game. I'm not. I'm a fan. I hold this program to a standard. And, like Odell Hagan said, top 5, in the conversation for ACC championship, national championship. That's the standard. So I think Norvell knows that. He realizes that, and he's going to build towards that. I think with the Jordan Travis situation, I think I'm not going to say he's not the unquestioned starter. I think you bring in a guy to challenge him. I think you let AJ Duffy challenge him. And, if you are not, competitive minded in all aspects of this game, you probably don't need to play. I don't want a quarterback who doesn't want to compete for his job. If it was Jameis Winston, okay, he would be the unquestioned starter. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Okay, if it was Chris Winkie, okay, or Charlie Ward, okay, but Jordan Travis isn't that. He has developed tremendously. I think bringing Mackenzie Milton in pushed him to be a better quarterback, and maybe you need to bring in another quarterback to push him further. But it's a unique position to be in. But ultimately, you sacrifice Chuba Purdy for Mackenzie Milton. And, later on this week after the UF game, I'm going to give my synopsis of the season and, just how I felt it went just from my perspective. And, that's coming later on this week. Kalen DeLoach, man. He has really come on strong. We need him to come out and have a phenomenal game. Cooper, the defensive back, he's coming on. Noles has been steady. Brownlee needs improvement. He had a couple of good games there, but he's been burnt the last 2 weeks. So, Jerry and Jones, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man. And, it's just, I don't know. They put Brandon Ginn out there. He terrible. So, I don't know what the game plan. I haven't watched one Florida game this year. I usually try to watch, like, if they play, like, Alabama or LSU. I haven't watched not one game this year. I know both of their quarterbacks are mobile just from, watching sports highlight shows, but I don't know what team is going to show up. I mean, obviously they're going to be in disarray a little bit because their head coach got fired. But like I said, that can be a rallying point. It can also be something destructive. But we're going to find out. 12 noon. It's kind of weird that this game still holds a lot of prestige with me. Nationally, it probably doesn't now, but 12 noon, that's disrespectful. That's very disrespectful. But I just hope that we can get the win, get to 6-6, go to a bowl game, get those extra practices, get those offensive and defensive line recruits, and try to get this thing rolling, man. Try to get this thing rolling. I'm trying to think of what else. I really can't think of nothing else to talk about with this program. I mean, the first half of most games from an offensive and defensive standpoint for the last two games, the first half, man, they've been phenomenal. Now, can we just put that together for a complete game? Florida State hasn't played their best game yet. And hopefully against UF, you can play 4 quarters. I understand that your defensive line, those 4 guys can't be out there the whole time, but you got to play 2 high safeties. They're going to do a lot of read option. So you already know that's coming. And you got 2 very mobile quarterbacks. So, I mean, hopefully they just be disciplined, man. The last time we played a mobile quarterback, we got smoked. So, hopefully we can just come out and be, the team that we've been the last 2 weeks and win the game. So, I want to thank everybody that listened to this podcast. I appreciate it. I apologize for the dead air and not having my topics together. I even typed up the segments, but I just chose to ad-lib it. It's available on YouTube. It's available on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening. And do your research on vitamins, vaccines, anything of that nature. And as always, go Noles.